Am I supposed to be on speaker view?
I put you on speaker view.
You did. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I see some folks have joined us. Rick Goings, good to see you this morning. Sangeeta, always nice to see you.
I'm going live.
Shomita, you have been on almost all of our calls. It's so nice to see your name again. Arthur, one of our change makers from Brazil. Dr. Sharmista Banerjee, good to see you. Most of you are muted when you first come in, so I can see you, but I'm not sure what you can say back to me. So just give a wave or a little thumbs up. Actually, as always, want to welcome everyone to our Global Links webinar series. This, I believe, is our 5th in our series. And great, thank you, Arthur. And my name is Mary Conway Datoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the faculty director for Global Links. And as folks are logging on, I always like to ask you to just put a little note in the chat box of where you are from, so we see the variety that we might have this morning of where people are from, and if your connection to Global Links, if you're familiar with Global Links, or if this is your first time on the webinar, just let us know a little bit about you. I will share that you're in for an awesome exchange, which has very little to do with me. So it's all about our students, our change makers, and tremendous work that they do in the field. So let me not delay any further from that incredible note, and let's see, just looking at the chat really quickly. All right, Sangeeta, and from Kolkata. Ooh, we're gonna challenge my Indian pronunciation there. Sanchari, correct me once this comes on. Adiyeta? Samantha from Kolkata, very good. Sada from Kolkata, excellent to see you all. So once again, my name is Mary Conway Datoon. I'm the faculty director for Global Links, and I want to welcome you all to our webinar series. We have folks here from Orlando, Rick Goings from Virginia, some of our change makers and audience from Brazil, and folks from India, mostly around the Kolkata, West Bengal region, excuse me. And what we are going to talk about today is we're going to have a great conversation moderated by Luiz Fantini, and he's going to talk to two of our change makers, Victoria Alonso from Brazil and Sanchari Chatterjee from Kolkata. So let me just very briefly tell you a little bit about Global Links. I think most of you have been with us before on the webinars, but Global Links is a private-public partnership that specializes in cross-cultural training, and we do a train-the-trainer model where we train our amazing scholars, from original scholar from Iraq, 2 scholars from India, and we're happy to announce we now have 2 scholars from Brazil, so our newest scholar will be joining us in 2021. And what do we do? Ultimately, it's empowering women through education and entrepreneurship. But as you'll find out in a minute, most of the work is done once the trainers, who are our scholars, train the students to take their work that they've been learning in the classroom out into the field on one-to-one partnerships with female entrepreneurs. And what we see is a growth in education and understanding in entrepreneurship, both for the students and for the entrepreneurs, and frankly, for us as professors and scholars as well. So the total cycle takes 1 year across the 3 phases. And as I mentioned, we're about to launch our second phase in Brazil. And after that, as you can see on the screen, we hope to expand to other countries in Latin America. So without further ado, actually, let me turn it over to Luiz. And I can't just turn it over to Luiz without telling you what a fan I am of his. Luiz is our graduate assistant, I should say, was our graduate assistant in Brazil. And you know, just last night, Luiz, I was thinking about our first e-meeting when we interviewed you for the position. And Yasmin, our program manager, Denise Del Boni, the graduate, the scholar from Brazil, and we interviewed Luiz, and his energy shone through immediately in that first call. And it has been consistent ever since. A tremendous leader, high energy person who I've been able to get to know. Gosh, is it already a year, Luiz?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
over a year. So he's had a tremendous influence on the program. And as he'll explain to you, in acknowledgement of that, and I'm going to stop my share here so we can see Luiz on a bigger screen. As he's going to explain to you in a moment, that graduate assistantship led to the Changemaker designation. So without further ado, Luiz, let me turn it over to you. You can give us a little background about yourself and then tell us how it's going to proceed. As folks who've been here before know, once you have this conversation, it's a very informal. We like to be informal and friendly and build the relationships. We will take a photo towards the end, so we'll give that little heads up so people can put their camera on or whatever they need to do to get ready for that photo. And we'll take some questions and answers. So if people want to put any questions into the chat box, Yasmin will forward those to us, and we'll read those out and have our changemakers do those questions. So enough of me, Luiz. Come and tell us how great you are, and then introduce us to the changemakers for today.
Thanks, Dr. Conway. First of all, I'd like to thank you once more and to say that it has been an honor for me to be part of Global Links, and I have grown a lot with all of you, not only the professional side, but also the personal as well. So thank you once more, and I'm very happy to be part of the team. So guys, today I'm going to moderate the conversation between me. As Dr. Conway said, I started my journey in Global Links as a graduate assistant. So I helped Dr. Del Boni, the scholar here in Brazil, the first one, to put the program effectively on down. So we started doing everything, and I helped her. And after all the things that we have done, I was very happy to know that I passed from an assistant to a change maker. So it's one of the highlights of my career, I can say. So my background, I am a bachelor in management, and I am concluding my MBA as well, both from Fundação Getúlio Vargas, which is a well-known business school here in São Paulo. And besides being the Global Links assistant, I have experience in human resources, labor compliance, and also entrepreneurship, not only in the public sector, but also in the financial and banking sector as well. So with not further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to our other two changemakers that I'll be chatting today, which is Victoria from Brazil and Sanchari. So Victoria, could you please introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for the Global Links team for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here today. My name is Victoria. I am from São Paulo, Brazil, and I have recently graduated in public administration at Fundação Getúlio Vargas as well, FGV. During my undergraduate years, I had some experience with academic research on different topics at the Center for Studies in Public Administration and Government at FGV, and as a research student in the institutional program for scientific initiation research. In addition to participating in volunteer initiatives as a teacher inside and outside FGV. In November 2019, I have the opportunity to be part of a civil diplomacy delegation as a youth leader at the United Nations Forum on Business and Human Rights. And I am currently working on a renewable energy plant project in northern Brazil as a financial analyst. I am so happy to be here today.
Thank you, Victoria. Now, Sanchari, could you please introduce yourself?
Firstly, would just like to say that Conway ma'am, your pronunciations with names are going really great. So, and I'm very grateful to Global Links for this amazing opportunity. So, hello everyone, I am Sanchari Chatterjee. I am a Global Links Changemaker for the session 2017 to 18. And I completed my master's in accounting and finance from the University of Calcutta in 2019. I'm a daughter, a sister, a very passionate dancer. I also practice Nichiren Buddhism, and I'm a national level kickboxer. So when I was in school, I partnered with various nonprofit organizations to teach underprivileged children and women. And I was very fortunate to be a part of Global Links program, where I partnered up with an entrepreneur, and together we had the responsibility to make a 360-degree appraisal of her business. And through my phase 2, I got the opportunity to go back to Rollins and study more on social entrepreneurship. And from there, I also was selected to go to represent Global Links India at the Global Leadership Forum at the University of Virginia. So that would be pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanchari. Now, I would like to start our conversation with Victoria and Sanchari, starting with the entrepreneurs that they have worked with. So Victoria and Sanchari, could you please tell us a little bit more about them and how did you work with them? Also, the achievements and skills that you helped them to acquire. And in addition, how did you perceive and notice that Global Links improved their business success, like generally speaking? So Victoria, could you start, please?
Sure. I had the opportunity to work with 3 entrepreneurs. They are Andrea Bento, Carolina Coin, and Soraya Araújo. They are the owners of Colabore com o Futuro, that is a healthy advocacy platform. It is pretty interesting. And through personalized strategies, Colabore seeks to expand access to health in the country in a sustainable and transparent manner, meaning that they are connecting the needs of patients, governments, and business. Its work is structured in 2 main pillars, I would say. So is communication and mobilization to encourage the process of policymaking. And at first, when they were selected to the Global Links mentorship program, they were seeking for new business tools. So what would they acquire to structure the whole operation of the platform and gain new skills for a better management organization? But this goal changed at the beginning of 2020. So in January, when we had one of our last meetings, when it was pointed out the difficulty from the entrepreneurs of telling others exactly what was Colabore's business. So we focused, in the end, our efforts on how to develop authority and create content about specific themes concerning health in Brazil. And I think this is so important for us nowadays concerning the period that we are living. And so this medium and long-term advocacy plan first had the objective to understand the needs of the society in terms of what the civil society wanted and wants to know about health in Brazil. Through surveys, we created some surveys that they were posted in their social media. And afterwards, we created together national campaigns to call the attention of the population in collaboration with some NGOs about the governmental health institutions, what they were discussing, and where to follow these decisions then. And well, and this whole mentoring period showed that the performance of Colabori would be recognized through the generation of content for the causes they defend. So this was more or less the work that we've done.
Thank you, Victoria. I have to say that I'm very anxious to know about what Sanchari experienced with her entrepreneur, because Victoria had a proximity because I was the assistant and she was the mentor, and I got to know a little bit more about so during this year. So Sanchari, could you please tell us about your entrepreneur?
Yes, Luiz, sure. So the entrepreneur that I worked with is Mrs. Naz Akhtar. Her business is basically handicraft jewelry, and it runs by the name Annafi Creations. So Nazdi did not start the business out of financial crunch, but she was very passionate about handicraft products. And so the base of her products were generally brass, copper jewelry, which had it, which was gold plated and had a stone, like micro studded stone finish. And she also used to do paper jewelry. So she would also customize her products based on the taste and preferences of her customers. So it was very unique. Each piece was very limited and very unique because of that reason. And so she was a graduate in commerce herself, and she had professional beautician training as well. And when I met her, I just knew she was so empowered, because she not only kept the trainings to herself, but she would also give these beautician trainings to women and girls from difficult backgrounds, pairing up with different nonprofit organizations as well. So when we started working together, so the few things that we were successful in doing for her business were we successfully submitted her documents and completed the part of conversion from a Value Added Tax Act registration, which was her paperworks were previously under that act, which is a state act. And we converted her papers to a Goods and Service Tax Act registration, which is a centralized act. So, and that was mandatory at that point. And there was, the act was newly implemented, and there was a lot of confusion and studying that we both had to do on it as well. And a few of her paperworks, like her trade license, they were not renewed for the past 2 years. So we also successfully renewed those. Then we registered her on Flipkart and Amazon for her to have more reach and for her to, display her products on a global platform. And also, she wasn't very well equipped with social media. So the first thing is I put her business on Facebook, so that, it's known to people around her. And also one point that we stressed on was, we recycled and utilized her leftover materials and converted them into finished products, which she could hand out as complimentary gifts to customers. And so we were asked to work on 3 deliverables: women empowerment, then business development, and advocacy to social and environmental issue. So as we progressed through our phase 2, we observed that there was a good increase in her revenue, and we received satisfactory feedback from most of our clients regarding her pricing technique and also her quality of work. So we used a lot of paper packaging so that we could reduce the cost and also make it more eco-friendly. And through social media, we had a greater reach, and we saw her customer base slowly expanding. So that is how I knew that that we were progressing on our journey. So yeah.
Great work, Sanchari. And just to complement, I would like to say that we as a team of Global Links, we always say that this program is a two-way learning street. So at the same time that the student help the entrepreneur, we can say that the student, the mentor, and of course the change maker, he gets a lot of knowledge from the entrepreneur as well. So Sanchari, you explained very well what you helped your entrepreneur with. And now I'd like to know, and please, if you could tell us all, what have you learned with your entrepreneur during this time?
That's so much, very few words. But Nazdi really helped me to see the practicalities of a business. So I learned from her the importance of being consistently passionate about one's work. And also, when I met her, like I already mentioned, I knew that she was an empowered woman, because she was running an entire business on her own. And she had this thing. She would always tell me to never dream less, like never settle for what there is, but she always told me to dream big. And she had that never to give up kind of a spirit. And like something I have really noticed working with her was the thing about empowered women is that they really take the joy in uplifting others like them. And working with her just made me come out of my comfort bubble that I had created for a long time. And I just, and it helped me step into growth directly. So yeah.
Thank you, Sanchari. Victoria, would you like to tell us about your experience and what you have learned with Colabore com o Futuro?
Sure. I think it's always everything that we come across is a kind of new learning. And something that I was always thinking about is that during the mentoring process, I learned how to be flexible with others. And due the difference of business experience, lifestyle experiences, sometimes it's easy for conflicts to happen. And I think that this doesn't mean that either party's work can be ignored. So the challenge is not only to come up with solutions that will be good for both, but to also keep motivated to look after possibilities to continue with the work, because that is the main goal, the main point of the whole program. And I'm very glad that I had this experience at such a young age. And I think this is so important for youth nowadays. And yeah, I think that was the one of the learnings, I would say.
Great. And Victoria, thinking about your background as a public administrator and all the impact that you already have done in congresses and things like that, how do you plan to use your position as a change maker to pay forward your learnings and experience with Global Links? So like, in other words, how you might continue creating this impact in your community?
Yeah. When I came across the description about the Global Links program, what called my attention was the focus of the initiative, so women empowerment through entrepreneurship and education, and the possibility of being part of a transcultural program where I could co-create with young people. And me as a young person,
I think Victoria is not longer with us. Maybe. Victoria?
Yes, it seems that she
Yeah.
has frozen for us as well. So how about
Okay.
if we go to Sanchari? What do you think?
Sure.
And
Sure.
we'll come back to
Sanchari,
Victoria.
yeah, I have a specific question for you that also I am very anxious to know about. I didn't know about the alumni program. So you were the Changemaker of Global Links Cycle from 2015 to 2017. And right after, in 2019, you signed up to be a mentor of the Global Links Alumni Program. So what inspired you to want to continue being involved with Global Links?
I actually started my journey as a Global Links volunteer when I was a graduate student, and who just applied for masters with zero practical experience. And so my transition from a volunteer to a change maker was all about taking opportunities and gaining experience, and that whole transitioning from classroom knowledge to application of that knowledge in an actual business scenario. So, and with the opportunity to be a Global Links mentor in Alumni Connect 2019 program, I could pass on my learnings from phase 2 to Rollins to Global Leadership Forum to the next set of volunteers. And in that way, the ripple effect, as Tupperware says, the ripple effect and the building the chain of confidence just continues. So it just completed my entire journey of train the trainer model that we say in Global Links, and it just helped me get a better exposure of the professional work environment with knowledge transition. So it was a best blend of both. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanchari. Victoria, would you like to continue your answer?
I'm sorry for
No
the
problem.
inconvenience.
No problem, it happens.
But just to conclude, I think that the thing that I learned most from the people and the professors that I met at Global Links just made me realize that the program would only be fulfilled if I could look or work afterwards on the spread of knowledge. And this is not just an opportunity for now a public administrator and also a change maker. I think it is a duty for any individual that sympathizes with any type of public cause, and being able to be in contact and disseminate what had been learning, or what I've been learning through like my in everyday, and also what I've learned in the program. It's important to be publicized, let's say like that, to assist, debate, inform, counter argue, and above all, learn together. And I think that I feel very motivated for that to keep continue in this path.
Thank you. And now I think my next question dialogues very much with all you said and all Sanchari already said as well. Because like, what do you see, guys, in the young generation like us, what they look for today that makes being part of Global Links an attractive opportunity for them? So could you start, Sanchari?
So I think that young people today, like as I see around me and also me myself, so I think we are looking for opportunities, and like by opportunities I mean that opportunities that give them a better edge than the rest, and helps them prepare for the practical world. And if that comes with a purpose to serve, then it couldn't be better. So I think this is what exactly Global Link stands for me. And it's not just a program, like you said, Luiz, it's a two-way learning journey. So it's something to be experienced, and like we are also looking, young people are also looking for experiences that help them be better. So yeah.
Thank you. Victoria?
I agree with what Sanchari said. I think young people are looking for opportunities and ways to act more in the field. And I would add a comment. I think this is what I felt a little during the program, is that we also have the urge to constantly look for impact. And create impact on the one hand means that our generation will always prefer to be involved in causes that involve and contribute somehow for society, which is awesome, which is perfect. But on the other hand, when the imaginary path, let's say like that, goes in a different way from the one that we once imagined, I think sometimes frustration appears. And I think that this is why the experience given by the Global Links program can be incredible at all times. Because even at the times that we face difficulties and disappointments, there is someone waiting for you who has to be held accountable. And there will always be winning, losing, and most of all learning during our trajectory. So I think this is how we grow up, and being able to experience this now is transforming.
Thank you, guys. I'd like to add personal experience in this question, because as you already know, I was the Global Links assistant. And when Dr. Dalboni and I started to put the program together here in Brazil and starting to promote it, and when we opened the link to receive the applications, we were very afraid. I don't know if Dr. Conway and Yasmin know it, but we were. And mostly because of this, we like, as I mentioned before, I worked in human resources, and it was very common to have an intern for like 2 weeks only, and then he resigns and go to a next challenge and things like that. So sometimes Dr. Dalboni and I, she as a professor and I as part of the young generation, we might see like this lack of purpose and interest in them. So, but it happened exactly the opposite of what we were preparing and thinking. We received a lot of applications, and all the mentors and the change makers that became, of course, after, they were all with a purpose. And I know that some of them, especially here in Brazil, they are working with impact, and they're maximizing their knowledge and things like that. So it was a great program, and I'm very happy with the results that we had. So thank you both for your answers. Now I'd like to talk about challenges. As you know, again, I was the assistant, and I had a lot of challenges here in Brazil. I am a very perfectionist person, so I imagine most of the challenges was because of that. So either a room that was not prepared, or something like the schedule. So I'd like to know from both of you, what were the challenges that you had during the experience with your entrepreneurs, and how you overcome them during this time? So Victoria, if you could start.
I think one of the biggest challenges personally was to align expectations with the entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs from Kolabori, they have such an amazing background, and also a really busy routine. So sometimes we had little time for the exchange of ideas and propositions. And that sometimes meant a solitary mentoring process, and became also an obstacle to understand the demands of the business, what they were looking for from the mentoring process. And at the beginning of 2020, then we had to sit down and discuss. I proposed a meeting for us to discuss the alignment of expectations from both parts. And then this was crucial to draft a more structured mentoring process that would make it possible to work together. And based on my daily routine, their daily routine, and then I could explain my perceptions about the business, how I could help. And then everything started to flow a little bit better, with feedbacks being constantly made. And it was then really nice.
I remember that, Victoria. Thank you. Now, Sanchari, could you please, same question?
Yeah. So for me, one of the biggest challenges were to traveling to places I'm not very well known to. So I have always been a little protective. Like I've been a protective child growing up, and so I was comfortable with a very few places in the city. But by the time the phase 2 of Global Links had ended, I was a pretty confident individual, much better with roads, and I learned some really good usage of GPS. So that is something that I am really proud of from Global Links. And so also when I started working with Nazdi. So Nazdi has had quite a few bitter experiences with people in business. So she wasn't very open and very trustful in the beginning. And so initially she was a little hesitant about my capabilities of contributing in her business, and also she was very protective about her business information. And so initially that happened, but as we started working and as I consistently started working with her and following up with her, that trust, that bond started that started being created. And we soon started working as a team, and we like started addressing the business goals um, for like for real once she was more comfortable with me. And lastly, since we had to convert a lot of her legal papers and renew them, so we had to spend a good amount of time in government offices, and we had to wait for long hours before our problems were addressed. So we had to do a lot of follow-ups, like days went by and we just had to go and follow up and come back. We weren't moving on a very fast pace. But I think there we just decided to solve the problems by keeping separate dates for work, like when we would work in-house, and to allot days for for going outside and take the appointment dates on the same date with different government institutions, so that we don't have to waste days that way. So yeah, these are the few things that we worked on.
Great, Sanchari. Now, I'd like to ask you to summarize in a few sentences what was the most powerful takeaway from your participation in Global Links program generally, and on the personal level and also on the professional level as well. So, Sanchari, if you would like to continue what you were saying.
Yes, sure. That is again a difficult question to sum up, like entire journey. But my most powerful takeaway from Global Links, in participating in Global Links, is that it's just like every person is like a drop of water, like contributing and helping to form an ocean. So each person, their contribution to do something, just ends up creating a better society. So and I have also learned that behind every successful woman, there is a chain of other successful women. So, and Global Links is more more like a journey than like a program, and it just initiates a process of confidence building, uh, which again lights up the path to women empowerment through knowledge sharing and education. So, and it is also the perfect answer to gender discrimination. So,
Yes.
so that would be one of my most powerful takeaways. Yes.
Completely agree. Thank you, Sanchari. Victoria?
Just to say that it was so beautiful what you said, Sanchari. Really, it was really, really nice. And well, personally, I would say that as I was working with an advocacy business, it was some news for me. I've been in contact with social impact throughout the entire mentoring period. And personally, the opportunity given to work with the social impact business was challenging. Of course, we heard at some point in university what advocacy was, but in practice is so different. And the daily contact made me understand the importance of tools and platforms emerged from the civil society, which pretend to engage people in public causes and problems. And I think the most interesting part of all of this was to see the difficulty of executing and planning the civil society engagement. Above all, it's necessary to constantly inform the rights and duties of citizens and the importance of their participation in public discussions. And as a public administration student at that time, I kept asking myself what I would like to see coming from an organization that discusses health in Brazil. And looking through this perspective was an opportunity to get to know the importance of social participation in the process of decision making on the public administration. And also the chance given by the Global Links program, above all for me, meant building together, just like Sanchari said. I realized that actions and activities, they only make sense if there is a shared space of ideas, propositions, and that will create an environment of debate and learning. And nowadays, as a public administrator, I hope to be able to carry this principle with me forever.
Thank you, Victoria. That was very beautiful as well. So I guess now we have some questions.
Yeah, Luiz, before we go to the questions, I would love for you to answer the question that you just asked Sanchari and Victoria. Kind of, you mentioned a little bit of your challenge, right, of kind of going through the stress of managing a program, but I'd love to hear what do you think was a good takeaway for you that you will bring forward?
Well, I would say that the biggest one was to have to be sure that this is what I wanted to do, because I mentioned before that I worked for banks and financial institutions, and not saying that's not right. Of course, everybody has its own their minds, but I always knew that I had to impact someone somehow, and the part of diversity always kept on my mind, like a very a loud voice in my mind saying that I had to do something with diversity. And the team of women empowerment was one of them that I wanted to work. So I guess the major impact that I had the program was this validation to keep working and keep making a difference. And besides that as well, as I mentioned the start of the webinar, I can see that I grow a lot, not only on the personal side, but also on the professional side. I was a very shy person. If you told me, Dr. Conway, 1 year before that I was going to moderate a webinar, I would say, you're crazy. I'm not going to do this. And now it's a reality. So, and I can see this in me. So I would say this is, and of course, Dr. Dalboni, she was a partner in crime during all this time, and she became my godmother. So I never had a godmother, and she volunteered herself, of course, due to our proximity and our relation. So now we are connected. So I would say that those are my few answers.
Excellent, thank you, because I think having you here also augments what Sanchari was saying, that behind every woman there is a cadre of women. And there is a cadre of men who, like yourself, understand the value of diversity and of bringing others' skills forwards. And you know, we love the story of you and Dr. Dalboni becoming the godparent, godson, because so much of what we do at Global Links is about relationships.
Yes.
And we have two questions that I'd like to get to. One has come from one of our chain of change volunteers. So one of the things we like to do with Global Links, you heard Sanchari talk about 2015 and then the 2019 Global, Alumni Extension, Alumni Exchange. And now we have two other programs actually operating in Calcutta, thanks to the support of the US government and the Consulate General in Calcutta. And one of them is this chain of change programs. And so we have a volunteer and she's asking, she would like to know what you all, Sanchari, Victoria, Luiz, would say if you were asked to say something motivational to the participants like us. So they are in the chain of change, right? And especially in this time of COVID, they're really dealing with trying to understand what next steps to take and how to keep themselves involved. So what would you say that would help motivate them?
I would say that everything counts, because personally speaking as well, I was very concerned with the impact that we're going to do. And today I can see that a word count. If you talk to someone, like you take 10 minutes of your day to talk with an entrepreneur or with a possible mentor, or I don't know, any person that's in need, it counts. So don't be stressed with the impact and the size of it, because every word really counts. And I learned this in Global Links, of course.
Excellent. Victoria?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Luiz said, and he was one of the people that helped me a lot during the mentorship program. And I think it's what I said before too. There is always someone waiting for you, so don't give up. It may be difficult. Maybe, for example, if we are in this period, we don't know until when, but there's always someone waiting for you. Maybe with a word, maybe with some work done, but there's always someone waiting for you. So don't give up.
Excellent. Thank you. Sanchari, anything you'd like to add?
Yes, ma'am. I just, when the question popped up, I just remembered a quote that I keep going back to. So it's from, it's from the first women pioneer of Tupperware brands, Brownie Weiss. And she says that no matter, who you are, you alone can give the world something that it can get from no other source. So you're basically, your work that you're doing, your efforts are irreplaceable. So however you contribute, that's your unique way, and just don't stop contributing. That is what matters. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Sanchari. Another question I'd like to ask you guys, because we call Global Links a cross-cultural exchange or training program. And so any learnings that you had that were cross-cultural in nature, so working with either the team here in the United States or connecting, it can even be within cultures of your own country, because neither India nor Brazil is a monolith. There are many subcultures in there. So any cross-cultural learning that you would like to share? Victoria, can you think about that? Anything you want to share?
I think what was a challenge personally was concerning the language that we use. I mean, we don't have constant contact with English, and it was really nice to be challenged and have the opportunity to present in English, to have contact with different professors from the United States, also from India, that we could get in contact with different ways of teaching also. So for me, it was transforming.
Great. Sanchari? Hold on one second. Yes. There we go, Sanchari.
So I experienced a lot of cultural exchange because of going to the Global Leadership Forum as well. So there were people from different countries, I think 7 different countries, and also in US. So the concept of homestay was very new to me. when we were at Rollins, and also the concept of working practically in the field of social entrepreneurship when we partnered with different nonprofits while we were at Rollins. So the work they do, the impact, and how people not knowing each other can come together and create such a beautiful impact was something very new to me. And it was just learning, like Victoria said, like being flexible. I think that is the challenge there, like how flexibly you can adapt with people around you, even though it's cross-cultural. So that would be it.
Great, thank you. Luis, anything you want to add there?
Yes, many examples. I would say the first one, Victoria mentioned it, but like the English, I would say like when we started the program and we had a lot of meetings to discuss and everything, I was very afraid because here in Brazil, we are not, we don't call the professors doctor, we call them for the first name. So I remember the first emails that I sent you, I said Mary, and after I realized that this is not how it's supposed to be in USA. And it was the first one and the one that made me more like cautious with this, to think about these cultural exchanges. And another one that I remembered here that was very important to me was the final presentations of Global Links. We had like a fair, exposition fair before. And one of the entrepreneurs, she has a religion that she can't be there on Saturdays. So I managed the time so she could be there Saturday, starting at 6 p.m. Brazil time. So I managed the way that she could participate in and not getting this problem with her religion, so it wouldn't impact her religion. So it was very important to me because I got to see this once again, like this cross culture and other in the diversity that we have, and it was very special.
Yeah, and Luis, you also participated in the same presidential precinct that Sanchari did as well, right? So you had an experience in Washington, D.C. with people from different cultures. Is that correct?
Yes, and I can say that I was prepared to be there. Global Links prepared me in a way that I was more open to people of all the other culture and things like that. So it was a great experience as well. So
great, thanks, Luis. Thanks.
You're welcome.
We have a question for Sanchari, and I think it's an important question because, as I mentioned, we are getting ready to launch another program in Kolkata, which is called the Global Links Impact Investment Forum. And so we're going to reach out to students to ask them to participate. We're going to reach out to entrepreneurs. So our entrepreneurs on the line, Sangeeta and others. But one of the questions came in for you, Sanchari, is what message would you like to give other MBA or commerce students about joining a Global Links program in Kolkata?
So I would just like to really show them the importance of having a practical exposure to everything that they are studying or will be pursuing that they're interested in. So for me, like I already said, that I really lacked that practical exposure to a business that has helped me not just definitely professionally, but more of so personally, so that the two-way learning street can be a very good exposure to them, and they could actually see the real challenges of business faces, which can be very contradicting and different from what they study. And also, if they are enrolling in their MBA programs, and they would definitely want to have some practical exposure, because that's like directly right after they get their degrees, they have to start working with working or managing with either, or they can also want to be an entrepreneur, which is amazing. So either ways, they learn or they start on their own. It could just complete their entire education system and help them take that step towards learning more and like experiencing more.
You actually reminded me, Sanchari, as you spoke, from your cohort and the cohort before you, we did have actually, within your cohort, we have a student who became an entrepreneur and started her business and has done very well.
Vinita, yes.
Exactly, and she makes delicious cakes for anyone listening
Delicious.
from Kolkata. They're beautiful and delicious. And connecting to what you said, Luis, it's also in her religious practice, they bake without eggs, which was a new phenomenon for me, that you could make a cake without eggs and it would still taste really delicious. So, and also the opportunities that some of your cohorts have gotten to interview for positions that they might not have been considered for because of their work with Global Links, the storytelling that what you're sharing now, that they were able to share. And I don't know, Luis, if you know, or Victoria, if you know, how participating in the Global Links has helped any of the students or the recent graduates in Brazil. And I know we have Changemaker, also, not to put you on the spot, but with some other change makers in Brazil, if anyone wants to share how this might have impacted their next step, their interview for another job or anything like that. Luis, Victoria?
Well, from my side, I started a company with my father. So I don't know if it has a direct relation with Global Links, but of course it helped me a lot in getting to know a little bit more the steps and the classes that we had on the workshop. So of course it helped me a lot. And thinking about the change makers in Brazil, I know one of them started not a company, but like a hub, or I don't know how to say, but to help entrepreneurs as well. So she decided to continue the Global Links program in her way, with her knowledge, and I think it's very well. It's giving fruits, like we say here in Brazil. So she is getting a lot of good results already.
Excellent. Victoria?
I think that I would go more to the personal side too. And I think it is extremely related to what Sanchari said during the first questions, is that I learned a lot how to gain more confidence. So this is for me, now that I am in a totally different environment, let's say like that, of business, and getting to know a little bit more about the financial contest of contest, yeah, of context, yes, of the country, of the world. I think the program itself helped me a lot with that. So know how to present myself to others, to tell like a storytelling about my background and stuff like that. So for me, the program personally helped a lot, and I'm sure that for the other change makers that that are with me, and also the other students that were also with me, they were one at the beginning of the program, and at the end, when we were watching the final presentations, it was totally different. So you could see that everybody grew up in a certain way.
Yeah, I would agree. I had the opportunity to see both the midterm and then the final presentations, both in India and Brazil. And it is amazing to see the growth in all of the students. And Dr. Banerjee reminded me that from the 2015 cohort, two of the alumni work for PwC and Deloitte, which again are opportunities they might not have had without that. And Sanchari, I think you wanted to add something else?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to add, I don't know how it slipped my mind, because in Global Links, I have been so much exposed to public speaking and giving presentations, and so like writing reports, that it has definitely helped me a lot in my writing skills and communicational skills. So that is something I would definitely like let the youth of Kolkata know, because we don't do it mostly here in classrooms until and unless you pursue MBA. So that is definitely an added edge over to get your fears out of speaking in public or presenting on a large forum. So,
Excellent. And as was mentioned by Luis and Victoria, in a language that is maybe not your vernacular, not your native language. And so we appreciate the efforts that you all take to speak English and to present in English and to challenge yourselves to do that. So thank you very much, because as Sanchari was mentioning, my Bengali is very, very, very immature, and my Portuguese sounds amazingly like Spanish. So, I need for you guys to speak English. So I appreciate that. And we all do in the program. So even our scholars are saying that their presentation skills have improved. So we once again have so much more that we'd love to share with you, but have run out of time. I do again want to call out some of our entrepreneurs who you've heard from in our last webinar are online with us. Sangeeta Sen is, and we heard just some lovely things from our series of webinars, excuse me, from Rick Goings, from the president of Rollins College, Grant Cornwell, from our scholars, Denise Delboni, who we've mentioned, Sharmista Banerjee, who we've mentioned, and Rumpa Chakraborty, who we've mentioned. Now we've heard from the Changemakers themselves. So this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And in November, we're actually going to hear from our graduate assistants. So we have 2 of our graduate assistants online here in the United States, one Juliana Angaro, and the other Selena Danvers, are both online with us, and they are going to moderate a conversation with some of our other former graduate assistants here in the United States. And so, Luis, you might not be off the hook yet. We might call you back to chat with them for that. So we'll see. And so the last thing we have to do in this 2 minutes that we're over is take your photo. So if we can change, we'll change to the grid view. And if you can put your camera on, that would be absolutely awesome. And we'll take a photo of everyone. If you are able to turn, oh, and we get to see your lovely faces. Shomita, it's good to see you again. And we have a new person joining us, Jessica Courthouse, who we are looking to partner with SoHouse, and they also sponsor female entrepreneurs. So give us the countdown here, Juliana.
Okay, if everybody's ready, I can take it in 3, 2, 1.
All right, excellent. So stay tuned, everyone, for our next webinar in November. And please note that here in the chat and on the Facebook, for those of us joining on Facebook, we did post the connections that you can have to the 2 entrepreneurs from Brazil and from India, from Kolkata, that were mentioned during this. So thank you very much, Luis. Thank you, Sanchari. Thank you, Victoria.
So much.
And thank you all for joining us. Great to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.